Yeah. All right. So what's going on, people? This video is gonna be really, really good and interesting. I have my friend here, Jimmy, and he is just 18 years old, and he speaks six languages. And when I say six languages, it's not the level of language that you think of, not intermediate, not beginner, not advanced. It's almost a native level. So it's really, really cool to have a person like him here. So welcome, Jimmy, and you can introduce yourself to the people here.
Thank you. My name is Jimmy George. I live in Dominican Republic. I speak six languages. I've been learning languages since I was 12 years old. Now I'm 18 years old. So that's kind of like why I have like this level in all those languages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, and that's why that I pulled up this article from the Society of Linguistics. It's an American society. It's an American organization, and they are talking about how kids. And no offense, Jimmy, I'm just talking about when you were 12 years old.
Yeah.
How kids and the young people learn languages and why they learn it fast, and I'm going to explain how to learn a language the same way that kids learn it. All right,
Yeah.
but even though you are adult, all right, and you have like 40 years old in your pocket or something, so it's a really, really cool article. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but before I go through the article, I want to know, how did you learn these languages, and how did you start, and what motivate you to learn these languages?
Oh, okay. Well, what motivated me to learn those languages was
Yeah,
that my dad, my father, he speaks five languages.
yeah,
So when I was 12 years old, I was thinking about it and I said, I would like to speak as many languages as my father, but I would like to be like better than him. So
yeah,
I said, let me start by learning English. I had a laptop, so I started to watch a lot of YouTube videos of grammar, and
yeah,
I started to learn English. This was like the first language I started to learn.
yeah,
And actually, my method to learn languages, to say it somehow, it's like I start by learning grammar because I like to learn grammar because I can know how to like take the words together or to make a sentence uh with scenes.
yeah,
So I start by learning grammar because of that. And after I can say I feel that I'm good at grammar, I start to like Google list of words so I can learn more words. And I watch a lot of videos in YouTube, a lot of videos of YouTubers or just interviews or just anything in
yeah,
English,
yeah,
but with the subtitles on so I can hear what the people are saying
yeah,
and I can read what they are saying at the same time. So I can kind of like, even though if I can't really understand what
yeah,
they are saying when they're
yeah,
speaking fast, I can read what they're saying, and that helps a lot.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that helped me a lot with my listening skills. And to improve my speaking skills, actually, I used to talk to myself because in back then I didn't have like somebody to talk to. So
yeah.
I had to talk to myself. And it was like a little bit crazy, but it was like necessary.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Yeah, and by the way, like, it's like it's almost the same way that I learned this language, but the difference is that I've not studied grammar. All right, I hate grammar. I hate
Okay.
textbooks. I don't really want to put, I don't really want to put myself in, and like to lock myself into these rules and these
Yeah, yeah.
this system. It's really annoying. I mean, it really lose any fun in the language. So
Well, well, keep on
yeah,
going.
yeah. So it's like, basically, if I go, like, according to this article, when you studied grammar, you did not speak the language, but when you listened and when you practiced that language and the things that you learned and the things that you heard from these videos, you actually acquired the language from the videos, not from the grammar. So that's why I hate grammar, and I see it as something that unnecessary, and it's not like something that anyone who wants to learn the language just for communication or just for studying or something like that study grammar. Because when you study grammar, that means you are studying the system of that language. That means you are going to be
Yeah.
either a teacher or something like, I don't know, because there is nothing that can justify was wasting your time just studying a textbook and studying a
Yeah.
system that you will not use. But in your case, when you study the language, it was your first language. You study grammar. I think you did not waste that much of time, because you just shifted your mindset to videos and learning them
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
right people, from the natives. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah. What?
yeah,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
going.
Keep on going.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. What you said is actually true. I mean, why would you study grammar? Are you going to be a teacher or some of a kind? That's true. But I studied grammar because I feel when it is okay when you watch videos to
Yeah.
learn how to speak like a native speaker. Actually, is grammar is not going to get you like to speak like a native speaker, or won't like allow you to speak like a native speaker. I mean,
Yeah.
grammar is just like I learned grammar because I want to be able at least to
Yeah.
make my own
Yeah.
sentences
Yeah.
since the very first beginner.
Yeah.
But I actually know grammar is not like gonna make me speak the language. That's why I watch like a lot of videos. I take like 4 or 6 months learning grammar, and then I
Yeah.
start watching videos.
Yeah. 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 I got you. Yeah. So you are just like, you study grammar to put your breaks, the words, into use. Like you just want
Yeah,
them to put them in a perfect shape of a sentence. So
yeah.
yeah, I
And I
got you.
study grammar too
Yeah.
because when you study grammar, you kind of like know if what you're saying have like sense.
Yeah. Um, and by the way, like, I'm not saying that I haven't studied grammar in school. I studied grammar in school, but I was really bad at this language, like really, really bad. It was really hard for
I
me.
was very bad at English too.
Yeah. Then when you realize that it's not in the grammar, or it's not in the rule, or on this, or the system itself. It's just a language is just a verbal communication. It's just a way of communication. So it's
Yeah.
not, you cannot seize something like that into a system, into one and contain it into one thing. All right. So that's why just I listened and repeated, and just,
Yeah.
yeah, I like just the normal imitation and shadow one method. All right.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
keep going.
keep on going.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all right what you're saying. I mean, if you think that you're going to study grammar and you will be good at English, you won't be good at English. I mean, you should stop learning English if you think
Yeah.
you're going to do it like that. I mean, if you don't watch videos and try to pronounce the word as native do in the videos,
Yeah.
you won't ever speak English.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even forget about the grammar and just watch videos. But I feel like if I start to watch videos without learning the grammar first, sometimes I will not really understand. I mean, it's like harder, at least to
Yeah.
me, because when you start to learn a language, you don't know nothing about the language, and you start
Yeah.
to watch videos without learning grammar. Actually, yeah, I don't even know where to put the pronouns or how to conjugate the verbs. So when you see people speaking that fast and conjugating everything like clear and doing everything like right, I know it's okay. You can copy them, but
Yeah.
when you don't even know why they are conjugating the verbs like that and why they are doing
Yeah.
those stops,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
like really like hard. I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why I learned.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I understand, and I do believe that like it's kind of weird, like because when you listen to someone and you don't really know how the system works. But here's the thing, like in this article, like let me just show you something.
Okay.
How children acquire a language. Do parents teach their children to talk? No, children acquire languages quickly, easily, and without effort or no or formal teaching.
Formal, yeah.
Happens, yeah, automatically, whether their parents try to teach them or not. Although parents,
Yeah.
yeah, although parents or other caretakers don't teach their children to speak, they do perform an important role by talking to their children. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
just talking. It's not like children do not study the grammar, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they just listen, and when you listen, you will get the system. You will get each and every individual word. Like you will get used to that system. It's automatically your brain will adapt to that system. It's just normal for your brain to adapt to anything. All right. So and by the way, from the time perspective, like you have been learning English for like 7 years. All right, 7 years or 6 years, right? You were 18 or
actually,
12. Yeah.
actually, last like 2 years to be like fluent at English, but I've been like immersed in English since
Yeah,
seven
right.
years.
Yeah, so 7 years period, 7 years time window. It's a really long time. Like for me, I was able to speak this language for about like 3 months, and personally, I was like, man, that was so fast. I should learn another language.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was crazy because the methods that I applied, it was really simple, and it didn't really take me that much of time during the day
Yeah, I got
because
you.
I just flipped my whole day to English. Like everything that I listen to, everything that I do in my normal
Okay,
life
okay.
was just in English. So it was really easy for me to acquire the language and just to get that system and to sink it deep in my brain, so I cannot forget the language itself, or forget words or sentences, or have that, like have that problem with the translation, because some people.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, I think some people says if you don't practice the language, you're going to forget it. And
yeah, right.
I don't agree. I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
so because
that's something, because here's the thing: you acquire the language. So it's
yeah,
it's like you have your native tongue, then these languages that you acquired, it's just in the long memory of your brain. It's not in the
yeah,
short memory. Yeah,
yeah, it's like impossible for you to forget it. You can
yeah,
forget some words, but forget the language,
yeah, yeah,
that's impossible. At
yeah.
least I think that's impossible.
Yeah, right. And like even though, like, if you don't speak the language for like a year, 2 years, then
Yeah,
it would take you like 2 days or maybe a week to get everything back. And it's like
yeah,
yeah, and I noticed that when I started dreaming and thinking about this language, like it was really a really cool thing. Like my first dream in English, it was like, man, I just dreamed in English. That was cool.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's really crazy. Yeah, and that goes back to the idea of acquisition of the language, and this article is
yeah,
all
yeah,
about acquisition. And you know but there is something that I don't really agree with on from this article, which is they are saying that when a baby is born, they get born
yeah,
with an instinct. Like they just have an instinct to learn languages. They just learn it faster than anyone else, because
yeah,
uh, yeah, so it's really a natural thing for them. But this is something that I don't really agree with, because here is the thing: like there is a living proof for that. Like it's you, me, and other people. They acquire the language and they speak like natives, and they
yeah,
speak like effortlessly, and it's more like almost perfect. All right. It's like
yeah,
and when, like, every time that I speak with someone, it's kind of like they feel that I'm just speaking it normally without effort. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So they're saying that the tellers have an instinct to learn languages. But the reality is that toddlers, when they're young, that when they're 2 years old, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't really have anything to do in their life. They are just listening. Yeah, there's no distractions in their life, so
Yeah. Yeah.
they are just focusing on something, and that thing is languages and how to communicate with other people around them. All right, so if they need water,
Yeah.
instead of crying and doing gestures and these things, they would say, I need water. All right, because they heard that sense, and they heard
Yeah.
and they saw what that sense would do. All right, because here's the thing: if a baby in front of you and you say something, then you do that thing. If I say I'm gonna hold that book,
Yeah. 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 That's true.
then I hold that book. That baby will understand that if he says that I'm gonna hold that book, here he's gonna grab that book. It's really easy and intuitive, because here's the thing: he just wants to learn. Curiosity. It's a really a thing.
Yeah.
But when you get older, as you get older, these things and the distractions in life gonna be greater and greater. All right, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you cannot concentrate on one thing. And like, there is no one who is like 30 years old and like his brain is empty and can't think of anything. It's really it's really crazy. I mean,
Yeah. I
yeah.
got you actually. Yeah. Keep on going.
Yeah. So this is something that I don't really agree with this article, but everything else in here is really cool and really scientifically proven, and it's really really cool. And let me just search for something here. Why did my daughter say
Okay.
feed correctly for a while and then go back to calling them foods? Yeah, this she hasn't gone back at all. She's gone forward. When she is yeah. Look at this. And this person did an experiment on his daughter. All right. So he said,
Yeah.
why did my daughter say feed correctly for a while and then go back to calling them foods? So
Yeah.
he's saying actually she hasn't gone back at all. She's gone forward. When she used the word feed as a toddler, she was just imitating what she had heard. All right.
Yeah.
First she heard feed,
The
but
word.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, but now she has learned a rule for making plurals. All right, which is that
Yeah.
you add the s sound to the end of the word. So
The
basically,
word.
she learned. His daughter learned a grammar rule, which is adding the s to make plurals.
Without even know that she did.
Without even knowing that it's this is a grammar rule. She just picked it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by learning from textbooks. It's kind of unhelpful at all. Yeah.
Well, actually, it is very great to learn by just by hearing. But as you
Yeah.
said, toddlers. This word I don't
Yeah.
used to like use this word. Toddlers, they don't really like have. They are just kind of like concentrated to hear
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
people
Right. Yeah.
saying. And when they hear something, they watch what you're going to do so they can know kind of like what that means. For example, as you said, uh, if you take something and you say like you're going to take the cup, for example,
Yeah.
and you take the cup, the baby's hearing that you said, I'm going to take the cup, and at the same time, he's seeing that you're taking the cup.
Yeah.
So actually, he understands what it means. It means to
Yeah.
take the cup.
Yeah.
So when you get like older, you have like a lot of things to think about. You have to go to work, you have to go to school,
Yeah.
and you actually don't have like a lot of time to like do what you used to do when you were a
Yeah.
baby, just like hear people say stuff and learn by their actions and their speaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at this here. He's saying that there is no one point at which a child learns to talk. By the time the child first utters a single meaningful word, he or she has already spent many months playing around with the sounds
Yeah, yeah,
intonations of the language, and connecting words with meanings. And this is something, it's a what he means, what he's talking about is just that
yeah,
when a toddler just speak his first word, he has learned it a while back.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
really, it takes time for him between learning that word and actually speaking that word and saying that
yeah,
word.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's a time. It's not like an instant. Like it's not instantly like you learn that word, you will speak it. So that's why,
yeah,
like on the Telegram channel, I gave them a course. It's a kind of like, it's not made by me. It was made by a native speaker, and he was talking so slow and so clear. His accent is so clear. That's why I gave them that course, and he
okay,
was repeating over and over and over some specific words. All right, and these words, like they like someone texted me a couple days ago, and he said that, Hussein, we actually know these words. All right, when I listen to it, I kind of like distinguish that word, but I don't really know
yeah,
the meaning of it. And it's really happened to me when I first started learning this language, because I know the word, I really know the word, but I don't really know the meaning of that word.
yeah. You don't
But
remember the meaning.
yeah, yeah, but here's the thing: when I watch a movie or a series, it's like when you hear that character saying that word and doing the physical
Yeah,
action
action.
that
Yeah,
involves that word. For example, if you learn that if you say nourish, all right, you don't really know the meaning of nourish, but in a movie,
yeah,
when you hear a character saying nourish, then he raise or pet something, or raise like a plant or something like that.
yeah,
You're gonna have the idea that nourishing means
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah, yeah.
raising something. And that's it's really crazy. You will never forget that word. I remember nourish when I first started learning from movies, like, and that's
But
about a year ago. I've never
yeah, yeah,
used nourish because even the natives don't understand.
yeah, yeah. I mean, why would you use that word?
Yeah,
But yeah, it stayed in your mind.
yeah, it just shifts from the short memory to the long memory, and
Yeah.
you will never be able to forget it.
As for example, the word toddler. I know
Yeah,
the word, but I never use it. So
yeah,
it's like
right.
I have it in my mind, but I never
Yeah,
use it.
yeah, right. Yeah, and by the way, like, uh, since I brought up a series and stuff like that, it's really, I use that specific method to learn from movies. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
It's not like I first started with movies, but then I shifted up to series, because here's the thing: series are so long,
better.
and you will get,
Yeah,
uh,
they're
uh,
long.
yeah, and you will get used to the characters and their accents and their way of speaking. All right, so
Yeah,
yeah, so it was like, why not taking one character into the series and do the whole role of that character in that series? So I took a couple of series and just took one character and focused on his accent, his words,
yeah,
his behavior, and everything about him. And I reached to the point where I was able to speak and say the words before even he
like
spoke
him.
them. Yeah, because I knew his behavior, and I knew how he would respond to
Uh,
that specific
yeah, yeah,
situation, because I felt like him. All right. And by the way, like, it's a funny thing. Like, I took the role of Walter White in Breaking Bad. It was really crazy. I thought that I'm gonna cook meth, and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, actually, your method was like it's like very good. I mean, but I think like not everybody can really do
yeah,
it that
right.
way.
Yeah, it took me time. It's really no one can give it 3 hours a day, like watching that specific episode and just repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating over
Yeah,
and over
yeah,
and over. It's really annoying. It's really not the most funny
yeah,
thing you could do in your day. But here's the thing: it's so effective. It's really effective
yeah. It's
for,
very,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
is very, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So like, tell me about other languages. Like, did you find something different from your native tongue? Like, you have learned six languages, almost seven. All right.
Yeah.
All of these languages, which one was the hardest and why?
Well, the hardest I can say was English actually because I speak Spanish and
Yeah,
French, uh, Portuguese, Italian. Those languages are kind of like sister or brothers of my
yeah,
native
yeah,
language.
yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah,
They have like a lot of similarities, so it was like easier for me to learn them. But English had like nothing to do with with my native language, so it was like harder for me to learn it.
yeah. All right. Yeah. And by the way, for Arabs, like, we make sounds, like, it's really the way that we make our sounds. It's really different. It's not the same way that English people and people who speak English as a native language, they really make their sounds differently. Like, it's the same sound, but they make it differently. For example, we have the K, the K, right? We call it calf, but it's K. It's the same sound. We have also the D sound. We have the T sound, but they really make it different, right? It's
Yeah, yeah,
in Arabic we speak from the throat, all right. Uh, our like our sounds is just natural from the throat. They're so soft and so like they are smooth. That's why we have a melody in the Arabic language. But
yeah,
yeah, in English, they just use their tongue to articulate these sounds. They don't really use their throat, even though with these strong vowel sounds, or these strong consonant. It's a really from the back of our tongue rather than from the throat. So, for example, if I
yeah,
say
yeah.
sound, is going to be really from the throat.
From
It's
the
not from,
throat.
yeah. uh, and by the way, this is the most it's the toughest sound for the Americans to make. It's I teach
Yeah.
people Arabic on tandem, and it's really hard for them to learn the kha sound.
Well, actually, in French, they have kind of like throat sounds to say
Yeah,
it
right.
somehow.
Yeah,
Like for example, the R. They
yeah,
don't say. I mean, in Spanish, the R is R.
yeah,
In
right.
English, it is like R, but in French, it comes like from the throat, like ah. So a lot of Dominicans here who speak Spanish, they can't even pronounce the as French do because it's just like sounding like unusual to them.
Yeah, yeah. So and by the way, like Spanish and Arabic are so close together. Like it's a
Some of a
really,
kind.
yeah, yeah, like the sounds that you guys make, it's really close. It's like we have the r sound, we have the lam sound, we have
Ah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
more, yeah, it's more, it's almost close. And by the way, like we have a long history together in Spain, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we just brought up with us our culture for almost 1,000 year in Spain. So we interacted with people there, and it's all history.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what about French? Like you're learning French, right? Or no, Russian? Yeah, right.
Russian.
Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
Russian? Yeah, Russian. Yeah. So I tried to learn Russian, but it was really hard for me to like to articulate these sounds, and it wasn't really appealing to me, to be honest. There was no purpose of learning the Russian, except I have a lot of Russian friends, so I was like, why
Okay.
not learn it? So I was like, just teach me something in Russian. So they taught me some stuff like Привет, yeah,
Yeah.
привет, yeah, привет, как твой дела, and stuff like that. Just the normal things. It was
Yeah,
really cool.
like the
Yeah,
greetings to say somehow.
yeah, yeah. Uh, So like is there like if something that you would change in your method of learning a language like back then, what would you add? What would you do?
Okay. Well, actually, when I started to learn my first language, all right.
Yeah,
Well, I think that let me, I think that it wouldn't really change like nothing actually, because even though they are like, I mean, that's why they say that everybody has like their own, to say it somehow, method to learn and to learn a language.
yeah,
Even though everybody can kind of like use any method they want to, but I mean, everybody has like one method they feel more like confident with.
yeah,
So I actually think I wouldn't really like change nothing actually,
yeah,
because I've been doing it like that like my whole life, to say it somehow. So I'm like, that's like the method that I really like to use. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't like change nothing of it.
yeah, right.
Even if it were like my first time learning languages again, I think I would stay with the same method.
Yeah, yeah, but as you said, it's kind of like a personal thing. Like people
Yeah,
just
like
keep
a
their
personal
method.
preference.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I think people has like they have, how can I tell you? They have like to try to find their, how can I tell you, their the method that they feel like more comfortable with.
yeah, yeah. So it's more like like for me, like it was suited my time and my stuff was like just uh, it was like just turning my day into an American day, to be more specific, because I focused on one country and one accent. And by the way, like it really helped me focusing on one accent. Like some people would say that accents don't really matter. It's but in reality, accents really matter, and it can really speed up the process of you learning the language. Because here is the thing: a language is just, as I said, a language is just a way of communication. And
Yeah,
when you know the person that you are talking to, whether that person is American or something like that, when you know that person, when you know the culture of that person, it's going to be really easy for you to communicate with that person.
yeah.
All
But
right. Yeah.
actually, if you, I mean, in the first beginning, you can like just focus on one accent, but when you start to have like a better level, I think it's like better to start hearing other accents
Yeah,
because
yeah, right.
yeah, yeah,
It's really important to like to expose yourself to other accents,
yeah, yeah,
because you will not be speaking with one person or
yeah,
one accent, but
you,
you will be speaking with a lot of people around the world. Because
yeah, a
here's the
lot of people.
yeah, people like 70% of the people on Earth speak English, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like some people have a really thick accent. Accent is really kind of ununderstandable. Like I spoke with an Indian, and it was like it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
it was
mean,
a
they have like
really
their own accent. Even though
yeah,
if you're good at
right,
English,
yeah, yeah,
if you're
yeah,
not accustomed to their accent, you won't really understand everything
yeah,
they say.
right, yeah, yeah. And really,
That's why,
I felt like I was nothing. I thought that the problem was with me because I did not understand English. I was like, man, what's the problem here? Then I texted someone, and he was a native speaker, and I told him about the problem, and he was like, man, I don't really understand Indians. Then I felt a little
yeah,
happy, to be
it's the
honest.
same with Jamaicans.
Sorry.
It's the same with Jamaicans. I mean,
Oh
native
yeah, yeah,
speakers can't really
yeah,
understand Jamaican
yeah,
people when they speak.
and that comes down to their native language. Yeah, their native language is really different. They have the sounds, but they make them from different parts of their throat or their mouth or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So it just comes down to their native language. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So we have covered a lot of things here. It's a really good to have you here, bro. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you being here. Thank
I'm
you very
very
much.
glad to be here,
Thanks,
actually.
man. Thanks. I really enjoy talking to you about all of these information and all of these things. It's a really cool having you here. Thank you very much, bro.
I did enjoy it too. So
Yeah.
I'm very glad to be here, like with you, the chatting.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.